In this podcast episode, Dr. Ann Burgess, a renowned FBI profiler, delves into the intricate psychology of serial killers, psychopaths, and sociopaths, providing invaluable insights into the signs that can help individuals protect themselves from potential predators. With decades of experience in criminal profiling, Burgess has played a pivotal role in apprehending some of the most notorious criminals, including the infamous BTK killer. Her expertise sheds light on the manipulative behaviors exhibited by offenders and the psychological dynamics that often ensnare their victims. Burgess emphasizes that many offenders, while varying in their smoothness and charm, share a common trait. They possess a unique ability to manipulate their victims. This manipulation often begins subtly, with offenders observing and surveilling potential victims before making their move. The initial interactions may seem innocuous, such as a casual conversation with a store clerk, but in the mind of the offender, a predatory plan is forming. Victims often experience a gut instinct that something is off, yet they may dismiss these feelings as paranoia, leading them to ignore the warning signs. The discussion highlights the importance of trusting one's instincts. Burgess advises women to pay attention to their feelings of discomfort and to be cautious in situations that feel wrong. She underscores that if something doesn't feel right, it's crucial to remove oneself from the situation immediately. This instinctual awareness can be a vital tool in avoiding dangerous encounters. Burgess explains that many offenders exhibit traits of narcissism, which can manifest as a lack of empathy and an inflated sense of self-importance. Narcissistic individuals often dominate conversations, focusing on themselves and their experiences. This self-centeredness can be a red flag when assessing someone's character. Burgess encourages individuals to engage in conversations that reveal more about a person's background, such as their family dynamics and childhood experiences. Understanding these aspects can provide insight into their psychological makeup. The discussion also touches on the significance of early indicators of deviant behavior. Burgess notes that behaviors exhibited in childhood, such as cruelty to animals or aggression towards peers, can be precursors to more severe issues later in life. She emphasizes the importance of recognizing these signs early on and addressing them appropriately, as they can indicate a potential for future violence. A recurring theme in the conversation is the lack of empathy among offenders. Burgess describes the mind of a serial killer as a labyrinth of darkness, where logic and empathy are absent. This absence of empathy allows offenders to commit heinous acts without remorse. The discussion highlights the psychological mechanisms that enable individuals to harm others while rationalizing their actions. Burgess explains that once an offender gains control over a victim, it becomes increasingly difficult for the victim to regain that control. This dynamic is crucial in understanding the power imbalance in abusive relationships. Victims often find themselves manipulated into feeling guilty or responsible for the offender's actions, further entrenching their victimization. Burgess emphasizes that victims should never blame themselves for the offender's behavior, as the responsibility lies solely with the perpetrator. In her work, Burgess discusses the significance of building rapport during interviews with offenders. Establishing a connection is essential for eliciting truthful responses. She explains that active listening is a critical component of this process, allowing interviewers to guide conversations effectively. By creating a comfortable environment, interviewers can encourage offenders to share more about their thoughts and motivations. Burgess also highlights the strategic use of body language and positioning during interviews. For instance, placing oneself in a position of authority while ensuring the offender feels at ease can facilitate a more open dialogue. The discussion underscores the importance of understanding the psychological dynamics at play during these interactions, as they can significantly impact the quality of information obtained. The conversation shifts to the evolution of criminal behavior over the decades. Burgess notes that while the prevalence of serial killers has decreased, new forms of violence, such as mass shootings, have emerged. She emphasizes the need to understand the underlying psychological factors contributing to these behaviors, particularly among young men. The discussion touches on the role of social media in amplifying feelings of anger and resentment, particularly among individuals who identify as incels, involuntary celibates. Burgess explains that many of these individuals harbor deep-seated grievances against women, often stemming from feelings of rejection and inadequacy. This anger can manifest in violent acts, as seen in high-profile cases like that of Elliot Rodger, who expressed his frustrations through a tragic shooting spree. The conversation highlights the importance of addressing these issues at their roots, advocating for better mental health support and education to prevent future violence. The discussion also addresses the alarming statistics surrounding domestic violence. Burgess reveals that a significant percentage of female murder victims are killed by intimate partners, underscoring the dangers that can arise within familiar relationships. She emphasizes the need for women to recognize the signs of abusive behavior and to seek help when necessary. The conversation highlights the complexities of love and attachment, as many victims struggle to leave abusive relationships due to emotional ties and fear. Burgess shares insights into the psychological state of victims who may feel compelled to protect their abuser, often believing that love can change their partner's behavior. This cycle of abuse can be difficult to break, and Burgess advocates for increased awareness and support for victims of domestic violence. A poignant aspect of the conversation revolves around the role of mothers in identifying and addressing concerning behaviors in their children. Burgess emphasizes that mothers often have the best insight into their sons' behaviors and can play a crucial role in early intervention. She advocates for creating supportive communities where mothers can share their concerns and seek guidance without fear of judgment. The discussion highlights the importance of education and awareness in preventing future violence. Burgess calls for a collective effort to address the underlying issues that contribute to violent behavior, emphasizing the need for open dialogue and support systems for both victims and potential offenders.